This is TWiT.
Google announced new products this week, including new phones, tablets, and a brand new home hub. Joining us to discuss everything that Google has to offer is Cherlynn Low, reviews editor at Engadget. Welcome to the show, Cherlynn.
Hello.
So let's start with the Pixel 3. You had a quick hands-on. What are your first thoughts?
This thing feels amazing. That was my first thought. I've been using a Pixel 2 for a long time with a case, so I haven't really touched the phone itself for a long time. But the new Pixel 3 has a glass covering. It has rounded edges, something that Google said was like 3D glass. It's not only Google that's calling it that, but anyway, it's so sort of slightly curving glass. It makes everything just feel very refined and smooth, almost like an iPhone 8, but rounder, curvier, nicer to hold. That's the first thing I noticed. But the screen also, when you look at it, is just beautiful. I don't know if we, really spent enough time to tell you more deeply about that, but that was one thing I noticed. It's a huge upgrade from my Pixel 2.
I think the last time we talked, you were in Barcelona for the launch of the newest Samsung phone, the Galaxy Note something or other. You were looking, I'm sure you know. You were talking about the camera, you went all over town, and it was a great camera. So I know you only took a few pictures, and some of the pictures were a little blurry, which you blamed yourself for. How does the camera compare to that?
Yeah, so comparing to the S9, S9 Plus, I don't know if, it's not an apples comparison, I don't think, because there's dual cameras on, Samsung's phones, including the Note 9, which was more recently announced. And the Pixel 3 and 3 XL only have a single camera, but it's, the Pixel 2 also having a single camera was one of the favorites of the entire tech industry last year. In my testing so far, the biggest difference I'm seeing really is that if you're looking at the pictures on the Pixel 2 versus on the Pixel 3, the Pixel 3's screen just makes your photos look so much better that it's easy to be tricked into thinking that the camera is actually that much better. Mm-hmm. I feel like you'd have to put them on the same device and compare the pictures, and I don't know that there's that much difference. Some of the features seem fun, but they're not necessarily useful, I don't think. Like Photo Booth is, a mode that lets you take hands-free pictures because the phone is just going to snap away when you're smiling. But there is a new second lens or camera up front that lets you squeeze in more friends in your selfies or more of your background. I personally like that a lot because it allows for selfies that can show you what I'm wearing, aka crop tops, instead of just, from the neckline up, which is great. I can't really say all that much just yet about the new cameras, just because, we haven't really spent that much time with it. And the selfies that I shared on Twitter, were indeed direct from the Pixel 3, but they definitely were blurry. And again, like I said on Twitter, it's definitely like human error, I feel like. So yes, I'd say stay tuned for deeper impressions, but so far, intriguing improvements, but doesn't seem to be groundbreaking.
So I know you review a ton of phones. So what is the phone that you most often go to, like your daily driver, as they call it?
Currently my daily driver is still the Pixel 2. I can't wait till I can get the Pixel 3 as my daily driver. I've been playing with it, and, I really just can't wait till review season is over and I can make that my primary phone. The Note 9 is another go-to. Huawei's P20 Pro has been another good one, just if we're talking just cameras themselves. The Note 9 has good clarity and colors, but, with Samsung software, it sometimes introduces artifacts, like its noise reduction is a little aggressive. And then with the P20 Pro, its artificial intelligent photographer software can also be a little aggressive, right? It's overly enthusiastic in terms of saturating your colors or upping the contrast. So the pictures are great for Instagram, but not good for like an accurate depiction of what real life looks like.
Okay, so let's move on to the Pixel Slate. First of all, What is it?
Right. If you want to guess from the name, the Pixel Slate is a tablet. that runs Chrome OS. But it also, Google has engineered a keyboard that is meant to go with the Slate to turn it into a more laptop-like configuration. You'll have to pay an extra $200 for it, though, but it probably will be worth it if you're looking for a multitasking device that can serve you well both in tablet mode and desktop mode. The most intriguing thing about this thing for me is Chrome OS's potential to work in both orientations, like as a tablet and as a laptop. This is a 12.3-inch screen using a LCD display with low temperature polysilicon technology that is energy saving, which allowed Google actually to squeeze a lot more pixels into this device than its rivals in the space. So it is a 3000 by 2000 pixel resolution, higher than the iPad Pro, the Microsoft Surface Pro 6, and the Galaxy Tab S4. And so that makes for like really good videos, or if you want to do some photo editing on your tablet on the go, you can.
How does it compare in price, like to the iPad Pro or the Surface?
So controversial. Starting price, base configuration, it is cheaper by hundreds of dollars. But you're getting like an Intel Celeron, you're getting like 4 gigs of RAM. It's not the most powerful combination if you're thinking your base starting price. You can go up to Intel Core i5, even Core i7 if you somehow want a Chrome OS device with Core i7, which is kind of overkill. And 16 gigs of RAM. You can go up really high. But most people will probably shoot for somewhere in the middle, like with a Core M3, and that will cost you roughly the same as the iPad Pro and the Surface Pro 6. So it's nice to have that cheaper option to start off with. I haven't played with a low power version to see if that'll hold up, but I know that Chrome OS in general is a lightweight operating system that doesn't really require all that much resources. But again, it depends on what you're getting this device for. If you want to get serious work done, you're going to have to spring for a bit more in terms of the processor and the RAM.
Okay, so the only thing that tempted me as an iPhone and a MacBook user was the Home Hub. Tell us what your thoughts on that.
This thing is so cute. It's small. It's really small. It's like I held it in my hand. It felt like I was holding a flower pot or something. It's a 7-inch, I believe, screen on a speaker base. And it's a smart display, which means that it will show you things like, by default, say the weather and your upcoming day, and what events are there in your calendar. It will also show you YouTube videos, so you can watch your recipe in the kitchen if you need. And then when it's not doing anything that you want it to do, or if it's just lying around your home, it can be a digital photo frame. So it will cycle through pictures in your Google Photos account, or just random Google Photos that you like and are higher quality than what you might shoot yourself. I personally didn't hear the sound when we were at the event. A, it was really noisy, and B, you see Nate Ingram from Engadget over there. He's the one that was in charge of getting our hands on with this device. But, from the looks of it, this thing, it's just so cute. And there's 4 colors that are, I told Google that my best friend's home is like a gray and pink color scheme. So I'm going to get her the pink version of the Home Hub because it's going to fit in really nicely. And it's like $150 if you have, the money to spare. This is a nice gift for both yourself and like a very good friend.
Yeah, the price is really what tempted me. And then, I tried to play. I was reminded of the ability on my Echo Show that I have at home that it can play pictures. But then I asked it to play pictures, and it just didn't compare because, first of all, it's only the pictures that I have gone to the effort of uploading to my Amazon Prime account, and then it's just all the garbage. But Google, I presume, my Google Photos account, I presume it would show only the best photos and only the things that I wanted it to see.
Yeah. You can select like people that you like. So pick the faces that you want to include in, I think what they're calling live albums. I'm not sure about the name 100%. But yeah, so they'll curate albums for you based on the faces that you like. And the software is smart enough to leave out pictures that are either blurry or not pretty, I guess, and that are repetitive. So if you're like me, you take maybe like a ton of selfies a day, it'll just pick out the ones that are not there's not a lot of change in between them. It'll just pick out the best to be in that album that you rotate through on your Home Hub.
My problem is screenshots. Like Amazon is not smart enough to take out the screenshots. And I assume Google really is because Google's always reminding me like to get rid of all the screenshots that I upload to Google Photos.
Right. I mean, assuming there aren't faces in your screenshots, it should be smart enough to do that. And Google has been very good at detecting screenshots in my phone as well. So I am assuming that it should be better at that. But again, haven't played with it. Can't tell you for real if it will work.
And so what do you think of the choice not to include a camera in the device?
It's an interesting. I think a lot of people are happy that Google didn't include a camera in the device, and I think in terms of keeping costs down and the size that it is, it's a good decision. I personally prefer to have the option given to me and then have it come with like a physical switch or a physical cover, so that people can feel safe by like sliding a shutter over a camera. But overall, as a business decision, I get it. It's $150 is better than stuffing a camera into a device that doesn't really need it.
Right. And I think they're pushing for like, you can keep this in the bedroom and it's like a bedside table TV or, and then with a camera that can, cause all kinds of anxiety for certain people to have a camera right next to them.
Right. And you don't want to put Scotch tape over such a pretty little thing, do you? So.
No, you do not. And did you try the Lenovo Google Home thing? I don't remember what they call Smart Display, the Lenovo Smart Display.
There you go.
Did you have a chance to try that?
I did take a look at it at CES. We do also have our review units of that. I didn't review it, and I, again, haven't played with the Echo Show either. I don't really need screens in my home very much, but a report came out yesterday, I think from Ars Technica, that Google is using a cast-based OS for its Home Hub, whereas it's using an Android Things-based system for the Lenovo Smart Display and the JBL Link View. And it may, functionally, I can't tell if there's a difference, but it might. And that would be the biggest differentiator, I think. Otherwise, it does seem that across the board, the interface is very similar because they're very assistant heavy. Mm-hmm. And Assistant is similar across all of its visual interfaces. So I don't know that there will be an actual functional difference between the devices just yet.
Yeah, I wasn't a fan. I tried it for a couple weeks and maybe it was because even though I use Google Photos pretty regularly and I use Gmail and I use Google Calendar, I don't really use the Google Home app. Like my smart home stuff is connected either through Amazon or through Apple's HomeKit. So maybe that was why it didn't really work. But there was a lot of things that were promised, like that you'd be able to watch HBO, and then that wasn't there yet either. So I wasn't impressed. And part of me wonders if Google really knew that they were going to be coming out with this other device, and so sort of, I don't know, created this AP. Is it an APL that allows third parties to create API or APL to create these devices?
I think they work closely together with their third-party OEMs, and I think you're talking about the Lenovo Smart Display, right? Mm-hmm. Like with companies making these. So yeah, it's not 100% clear yet. If it's Android Things, then it is that like they have this program, they offer it to companies who have interest can work with them on making it. The features that you talked about, like playing HBO videos on these smart displays. It's not clear also to me whether HBO has to work with Google, have to make an app for it, use the API to create something. I am not up to speed on the smart display side of things. However, the Home app, I just played with the redesign the other day. It's so much better than the older version. It makes controlling my smart home devices much easier. It's putting all the important switches and controls on the front page where I need it. And it just looks much nicer too. So like you, I have an Amazon Echo that I use to control everything else, but the new Home app has got me thinking if I need to just let Google take over.